The sampler can be used for a variety of different purposes. You can create sampled instruments, so taking in a single sampled recording and then being able to play it as an instrument, or cueing audio samples like voiceovers, or sampling hits, so horn stabs and that kind of thing. So what we're going to do now is use that sampler first to build a sampled guitar instrument, then to trigger some horn stabs, and finally to trigger a voiceover sample. Got that famous Nixon's Watergate tapes speech where he says, "I am not a crook." So first drop in a blank sampler into your project. Now you'll see this big grey area that says drop sample here. Go into the week 4 materials. So in the week 4 folder, then samples, and under the sampler, you've got 6 different guitar strings, horn stabs, and the Watergate tapes. We'll start off with 1 low E. So this is a guitar string going through an amp sampled, just playing an open E string. And that fades off over time. So we're going to use that sample to build a whole instrument. So drop sample here, and the sample's in. Now when you play keys on the keyboard, that sample is automatically transposed. So it's sped up or slowed down according to which key you're pressing, which enables it to be played in a different pitch. And as simple as that. You can build a sampler with any sample, so you can use any recording you want and just drop it into the sampler, and you'll be able to play it like an instrument with the keyboard. Now the thing with this sample, since this is an E on guitar, it's E in octave 3, so we need to tell Ableton what note it's playing. So in this case, set the root key up to E3. Now when you play an E on the keyboard, that will be the original pitch. That's what's going to play back in the sampler. So E will be E. I changed the sample start point there. There was a little bit of silence at the start. I wanted to start straight off as soon as the guitar note is struck. Okay, so that's one sample, and it sounds okay within a few notes, up or down. But once you start to pitch it too far, it loses its realistic quality. It starts to sound kind of like a banjo or something. So we're going to go out and we're going to use the other open strings I've recorded. So guitar goes E, A, D, G, B, and then high E again. We're going to bring those ones in, and we're going to map them to zones on the keyboard within the sampler. Okay, so to bring that up, click the zone tab. Now we can see here that low E, this green bar shows that low E will be played, the low E sample will be played anywhere on the keyboard. So if you hit a note anywhere on the keyboard, the low E sample will be played back. Now go out, get the A sample, and drop it underneath that, and play, hit. Okay, so that's great. They're both in there, but we've got a problem. They're overlapping. So what we need to do is give each one a separate area on the keyboard. So I know the E starts at E3, and it's going to go up to G sharp 3, because that's where A comes in. So G sharp, and the next note up is A. So once you get to G sharp, once you go past it, it'll start to trigger the A sample, which is great, except that the A sample, Ableton doesn't know it's an A yet, so you have to go back down to the root key and bring it up to A3. Okay, great. So now repeat that for the third sample, which is the D string. Once again, narrowing this up, so changing the area of the keyboard that each is mapped to. So in this case, A should finish at C sharp 4, and D should begin at D4. We've got this problem again where the root key isn't set. So bring this one up to D4. And now it's just a matter of repeating that again. So for the G string, just taking its time. Sorry, I changed the view by accident there. Okay, so for the G string, drop that guy in there. Bring this, the end of that mapping area to F#4, and then bring the start of this one to G4. Set the root key to G4. Cool. Repeat again for B. So I know this is going to be, let's see, this is going to be B5, no B4, sorry, my bad. And this will end at A#. I have to set this to setting B to B4. And finally, high E. Drop this guy in. Make sure it's mapped to the right area, which is E5. So this one will finish up at D#5. And just make sure the root key is set. And then you've got a full guitar sampled. So this is quite crude. We've got 6 strings, but they've all been played as open strings. I'm just bringing in the start of each sample so that it starts as soon as the guitar notes hit. So we've only got 6 open strings recorded. So if you were to buy a commercial sampled instrument, something like the Abbey Road set, they have recorded, say, Abbey Road pianos using the same mics that the Beatles would have used in their Abbey Road sessions, with the same piano they would have used, in the same room they would have used, and all that sort of stuff. And painstakingly recorded each note on the piano, or every few notes, maybe every 3 tones, or every 3 semitones or something like that. So there's not much transposition going on between each one. They've recorded every 3 notes, but at different velocities. So the piano player will play it very softly, then a little bit harder than that, all the way up to as hard as he can go. So there might be kind of 5 to 10 steps of dynamics or velocity there, so that when you play back that sampled instrument, it's really faithful to the original. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is use the sampler to trigger horn stabs in the next video.